This month we have The Laws of Wealth by Daniel Crosby, and this is one of 3 behavioral finance books on this year's reading list. And this one's essentially a playbook on how to avoid self-inflicted investing mistakes. Crosby's message is simple. Mastering your behavior matters far more than mastering the markets. The key takeaway for me relates to risk management, which has a reputation for being a fairly dry subject, so here goes.
If risk management is an essential element of wise investing, why do we overlook it with such regularity?
All right, Crosby provides a 2-part answer to this question that he poses.
The first answer is that risk is by its very nature invisible and present only in the future, making it frustrating to measure. Legendary money manager Howard Marks aptly compares risk-aware portfolio management to constructing buildings resistant to earthquakes. Until the ground starts shaking, no one appreciates and may even complain about the extra time and money spent to insulate the building against future risks. As Marx observes, it's much easier to say, "Look what I did for you," than "Look what I avoided for you." I think most of you would agree that buying a car with seatbelts and airbags makes sense, even if you never plan on getting in a car wreck. Likewise, considering what could go wrong with potential investments is a sensible part of any paradigm, especially inasmuch as a crash is virtually guaranteed for long-term investors.
So some of the best financial decisions are often invisible. You won't always see the value of diversification. You won't always feel the benefit of restraint. And you'll most certainly never get a statement showing what disasters you avoided. The second reason we collectively ignore risk is even more interesting, I think. It's psychological.
A second difficulty with risk management is that our flawed psychology leads us to subjectively experience low levels of risk when risk is actually quite high, a concept that Howard Marks refers to as the perversity of risk. While we tend to think of bear markets as risky, true risk actually builds up during periods of prosperity and simply materializes during bear markets. During good times, investors bid up risk assets, becoming less discerning and more willing to pay any price necessary to take the ride. Risks compound during such periods of bullishness, but this escalation goes largely undetected because everyone is making money. At some point, stocks become expensive, a risk ignored by most in the industry who equate risk directly with volatility.
The perversity of risk. I really like that phrase. The market feels safe when prices are rising, when oftentimes that's when risk is high. So if you find yourself chasing returns or justifying high valuations based upon stories or narratives instead of fundamentals like earnings and cash flow, that might be your signal to exercise some caution. So this book is a fine read, and it does cover a lot of ground. But if you're going to read only one behavioral finance book, I would recommend The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It's actually not on this year's reading list. I read it last year. I think it's a little more intuitive, and it really sticks with you a little bit longer. Okay, that's it. One book, one takeaway. Next month, we have When Money Dies by Adam Ferguson. See you next month.